team building right now? So, as far as building a Super Bowl caliber team, obviously you can go the route of building your team like Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles. They won a Super Bowl. That's successful. The Seahawks, they had a pretty good team a couple years ago that I liked. But if I'm building a Super Bowl team, I want to build my team like the Broncos and the Chiefs. I think that's the model of today's NFL, and I'll tell you why. First of all, get the quarterback right. Big arm quarterback that can move. If I have a Dwayne Haskins or if I have a Big Ben Roethlisberger, someone that is not as mobile, I might invest more in the offensive line, but it would be ideal if my quarterback can move a little bit. So I take the big arm quarterback that can move, obviously, and quarterback can make up for anything. You can't whiff on you can't whiff on the quarterback. You can whiff on offensive lineman, you can whiff on a defensive lineman, get the quarterback right. Plain and simple. Surround that quarterback with weapons is the next thing that I would do. And that's what Kansas City and Denver has done. You look at Kansas City and Denver. They're pretty much saying they're daring you to keep up with them. That's what they're doing. They're daring you to keep up with them. They surround their quarterback with multiple weapons. They can create multiple mismatches. And a lot of people say that I need to invest in the offensive line. And you're right. Up next, I want to invest. Actually, not up next. That's the fourth thing. I would invest in a defensive line next, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I think that you need to be competent on the offensive line. I think that with schemes and coaching, you can improve your offensive line dramatically. And if your quarterback gets the ball off his hands quickly and things of that nature, you can elevate your offensive line. A lot of people point to the Cowboys and say, well, the Cowboys have this great offensive line. Let's build that. Timeout. They have Dak Prescott on a rookie contract. That's the only reason why they have been able to build their entire offensive lineup is because Dak Prescott's been on a cheap deal. So I would spend money on my tackles, but after that, I just want to be competent. And my whole thing is get pass rushers to protect the lead. Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Bradley Chubb, Von Miller. That's the model that I want because I got to be honest with you, Brett. I'm daring teams to keep up with me. And if I'm down, I'm never out of games. Because you look at Kansas City, down 24-0 to Houston, down in the Super Bowl, down to the Titans. They came roaring back. And when you're a run-first, defensive-oriented team, you're in a lot of 50-50 close games. I want to blow teams out. I want to score 30 and protect the lead. So that's how I would build my team. Quarterback number 1, weapons number 2, pass rushers to protect that lead number 3, offensive line number 4, and then I would spend some money on number 1 cornerback or a safety that can move around like a Jamal Adams or a Honey Badger. So as far as teams that have won Super Bowls the last couple of years, would you go the Patriots model? Would you go the Eagles model? The Chiefs model? How are you building your roster if you're a general manager in today's NFL?
I would probably tend to favor the Eagles model where quarterback is king. Even if you have one, spending extra capital on one just to kind of protect that position as much as possible because it only takes one hit for you to be on your backup. And if your backup isn't any good, guess what? The season's over. So, spending as much capital on quarterback as possible is good. And then after that, after you feel comfortable with not just your first, but your second quarterback as well, then you really move and you hammer the offensive line, you hammer the defensive line. So if you have a good quarterback and you have good trench players, you're set. Everything else is gravy on top of that. If your quarterback is good enough, you can make do with lesser weapons as long as you still have protection. And if your offensive line is good, you'll still have a run game as well. So you can work play action, you can work RPOs, all that kind of stuff. And that can kind of compensate a little bit for inferior weapons. So really it's, get me not just one quarterback, but 2 quarterbacks and get me good trench players. And then everything else after that is just pure best player available. Doesn't even matter what position. Just take the best player. Eventually, you'll fill out the roster around them. But really, if you're not good at quarterback and you're not good in the trenches, you're not going to win games.
So you would build your team like Howie Roseman?
Yeah, 100%. I think the Howie Roseman model for how he's built his team and other than the kind of Chip Kelly years, that interlude there, the Eagles have had a lot of sustained success over the last 20 years, even going back to the Andy Reid era, which is where Howie learned a lot of how to build a team, and Andy just obviously has been, in a lot of big games because his teams are always pretty darn good. But, Andy was the same kind of thing, where it was prioritize quarterback, and then let's prioritize trench warfare, and emphasize length and power and all that kind of stuff, and Howie learned from that, and he's built his team now good over the last 20 years because of it.
Yeah, I think that Andy Reid kind of, when he was in Philadelphia, he didn't always have the wide receiver talent. I think in Kansas City, he's kind of saying, hey, give me some more weapons. Donovan McNabb didn't always have the best weapons, I would say. But yeah, I think that the Howie Roseman model is pretty good. I would still lean toward Kansas City for all the reasons I said. But yeah, I mean, it's a quarterback and coach league. How good is your quarterback? How good is your coach? And the coaches can elevate the other players. And like you said, best player available. You can take the best quarterback available. You can take the best defensive lineman available. So, yeah, I can get behind the Howie Roseman model. But, yeah, I think I'm going to lean toward the Kansas City model, I would say. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.